If you've ever been in a situation, or if you are in a situation right now, where you've lost your libido for your man, or you're losing it, your desire to be intimate in the bedroom, to do the things that maybe you used to want to do a lot more, it's really starting to dwindle. If you've been in that situation, or you are in that situation, it's not your fault. It's not because of you. It's because of how your man is showing up. It's because of something that he is doing or not doing to cause this physical response in your body where you are closing yourself down energetically and physically. Whether you continue to be in the bedroom with him or not, you're not enjoying it in the same kind of way. There's a reason that this is happening. There's actually two main reasons that this happens. We're going to talk about both. I'm also going to talk about my experience in my marriage, though no details, just to give a understanding of how this can happen. And then we'll also talk about what you can do about it if you've experienced something like this, or if you are experiencing something like this right now. Because even though it's not your fault, there is ways that you can shift your communication, shift the way that you're showing up to get a different response from your man. So before we dive into this, it's important to understand what you need, whether you are truly in your feminine right now, because we're going to talk about shifting into your feminine energy. Every woman has a feminine instinct, whether it's online or not, whether it's suppressed or not. And that instinct is telling you things that you need as a woman. And what you need, more than anything, is safety, physical and emotional safety from a man. And unfortunately, in our society today, a lot of men are not as safe as they need to be. Now, safety, that can be misinterpreted. So we need to define more about what safety means. So, as an example, one way a man can be unsafe is kind of abusive. Like, let's just stick with verbal. He's verbally abusive, he's critical, he's angry a lot, he gets reactive when you try to communicate your needs. When you share that something is wrong, he gets defensive. He's not lovingly leading you. Like, you might not have communicated perfectly your needs, right? So maybe he gets triggered. So he's not leading you perfectly to communicate your needs in a vulnerable way, in a way that is fully respectful, because he's getting triggered himself. He's going into his little boy temper tantrum. And that's not going to be safe, right? Because what's going to happen is, first of all, that's a need right there that's not being met. That lack of safety. How are you going to be able to energetically open to a man that gets defensive, who gets reactive, who gets upset when you're communicating your needs or when you're doing anything? What you need as a woman from a man is someone who basically, no matter what you do, I'm not saying you do anything that's really disrespectful, but you're going to be accidentally disrespectful. You're not going to be perfect in your communication. No matter what you do, he's able to stay emotionally centered. He's able to keep his heart open to you, and he's able to lead you with love into shifting yourself. And he's also able to receive everything that you say, reflect on it, and make a shift in himself if there's a problem in him being unable to meet your needs in some kind of way, right? You need that stability. You need that strength. You need that open-heartedness leadership in a man who's able to just stay fully grounded. And a lot of men today, they're not, because they haven't learned how to deal with their emotions. They haven't learned how to stay emotionally centered. They haven't learned how to fully lead a woman. So that in itself is a problem. But what's worse is, if you've experienced a man like that, we're going to talk about a totally different man in a second. If you've experienced a man like that, well, he's also not going to be fully receptive to hearing your needs. And you're not going to feel fully safe to communicate your needs, right? Your need for whatever it is, for affection, for help, for assistance, for support, for space held for your feelings. You got all kinds of needs. And so when your needs start to go unmet, what's going to happen? You're going to build up resentment. Of course, right? Like any woman or man would, when your needs go unmet long enough, you're going to start to build up some level of resentment, because it doesn't feel good to be in a relationship with a man who supposedly loves you when he's not able to meet your needs, and worse, when he's not willing to in some kind of way. Now, the two types of men that I'm going to be talking about, I've talked about one, we're going to be talking about another in a second. I was this type. Okay, I was the type of man that did get reactive. I was still, at the time, the first few years of my marriage, I was in kind of Peter Pan mode. I hadn't fully grown up. I hadn't learned that my role in the marriage was to lead, and lead from a place of love. And so I was selfish, relatively speaking. I was not thoughtful like I should have been. I was not putting her needs, my wife's needs, as equal to my own. And so, of course, my wife is going to start to build up resentment because I'm not considering her in the way that she needed. So she built up a lot of resentment. A lot of resentment. She's tolerated a lot of crap from me. And then at the same time, when she would communicate her needs, a lot of the time she did it from a very angry place, with a lot of blame, a lot of judgment. There wasn't any vulnerability. And so I couldn't hear her. Like, I didn't want to hear her. I wanted to push all of that away, push that anger away, because I don't want to be, as a man, well, nobody wants to be penetrated with somebody else's anger. The anger isn't the problem, right? Your anger is beautiful, even to a man. Your anger is beautiful. But if you communicate it in a way where you're energetically penetrating a man, or you're blaming him, or you're judging him, it's not going to be beautiful. It's going to be very ugly, and then he's not going to be able to hear you, and then your needs are going to typically go unmet. That's just the way that it is. And so in my marriage, I didn't meet a lot of my wife's needs. Now, part of that was the way that she was responding. Part of that was because I had my own wound where I was just selfish. And part of it was because I wasn't leading her out of her unhealthy communication into communicating in a beautiful, vulnerable way, the way that I now teach my women clients and the way that I now have taught her. So we were in this mess. And what ended up happening was, over time, the first couple years there was no issues whatever in the bedroom. Whenever we wanted to be intimate, we'd be intimate. But over time, because of that buildup of resentment, guess what happened? She became less and less receptive to being in the bedroom. And of course that became really frustrating for me. And then I wanted to do way less to meet her needs, way less the more that happened, of course, because that's going to be one of my really important needs in the relationship. Not just the physical intimacy, but just her being open to my leadership, to my initiation, right? And this is a big frustration for so many men because they don't understand what's happening. They don't understand why their woman is starting to close off to them. And this is one of the ways that a woman's going to close off to a man. We're going to talk about the other shortly. They don't understand it. And they think like the woman, the reason I'm doing this video in the first place is because I was having a little bit of a back and forth with a guy on Facebook who believes that women just stop being intimate with a man because there's something wrong with them. It's like that women are inherently, I don't even know, non-sexual or something. It was very strange. But this is the brainwashing of the red pill manosphere community, right? It's like it's all women's fault. Men are perfect. They're showing up. They're being generous. They're doing what they should. And it's always women's fault that things go south in the bedroom or anywhere in the relationship. It's women's fault that women want to get divorced. Like, I wonder why women would want to get divorced from a man. Is it really just because of the money? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. Is it, not that I justify cheating in any way, but when a woman cheats, is it because like all of her needs are being met and she's just, a hoe? No. It's because her needs aren't being met. It's because she's not happy. And again, there's no justification for cheating. But it's important to understand how these situations get co-created, right? And for a woman, it's because it's unless there is the rare woman that's just not really a good person. But most women are not like that. And women who come to my channel are typically not like that. Your needs are not being met. And so you try to get your needs met in the best way that you can, through other ways, and also you close yourself off. Like your need to be physically intimate, that is a need. But if your other needs, your emotional needs, your needs for safety, your needs for cherishing outside of the bedroom are not being met, then it's going to be very hard to stay open to get that other need met. Because even if you did stay open, that need's not really going to get met in the same kind of way. So this is important stuff we're talking about, right? We're talking about how to fix this. So in this situation, when a man is being either not really thoughtful, not really caring, and or his reactivity is making it difficult for you to communicate your needs and he's not really showing a receptivity to want to meet all of your needs, the biggest thing is you really need to focus on your communication. You need to look at how you are communicating. You need to learn how to be vulnerable. You need to learn how to use feminine communication. You need to learn how to share your feelings, actual feelings, because women will often share things that are not feelings. Like, hey, I feel disrespected, or, I feel unsafe. Those aren't feelings, right? And so when you share them, a man's not going to respond very well. You also need to learn, it's not just about how to share feelings, it's also about actually just sharing them. Because what women will often do is when they get more closed off, It's just like, oh, I have a headache or I don't feel like it tonight. How is a man supposed to help you open if you're not even trying to be receptive to him? Like, is very different between saying, like, I have a headache or I don't really feel well. I mean, sometimes, Kate, to be fair, sometimes women do have a really bad headache, and being intimate's not going to fix it. It's going to make it worse. Kate, I'm not really talking about that situation. I'm talking about a situation where you're just not really open to a man. You're more closed, and then you just start making excuses. It's like, I don't really feel like it tonight. Well, what the heck does that mean? What you're doing there is you're being totally unreceptive to a man. It's very disrespectful to say that, because your job, part of your job as a woman in the bedroom, is to put the effort into being as receptive as possible. That doesn't mean sleeping with a man when it feels bad for you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you dishonor your heart. I'm saying you're putting in the effort to be receptive, which means that if there's something in the way of you being fully receptive, you communicate that from a receptive place, right? Like, man, please have some help. Like, I notice I'm kind of I'm shut down. I'm feeling whatever it is I'm feeling. I don't know how to fully open. Like, this is a really big problem. I want to be fully open to you, right? Now you're demonstrating a clear problem. You're communicating a clear problem so that a man can start to understand what's actually going on and look at himself and his behavior and look at the relationship and hopefully try to fix it. It's not going to be a guarantee, but that is your job. No matter what, you need to be doing that. So that's one way that a man is going to create a lack of safety for a woman to want to be fully open. There's another way. We're going to talk about this other way. First, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below. Hit the notification bell and be sure to like this video, because, of course, I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. And if you would like help learning how to shift out of your unhealthy control patterns, go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link, relationshipofyourdreams.com, to my main website. Go there. All of my offers there, working with me, my dating course, my masterclass, and also my free training, 100% free, that you can watch literally right after this video, that's going to help you understand what all of these control patterns are, how to shift out of them, what our process is in our academy program, where we work with clients, with women, to make these shifts, to shift fully into your feminine, to be able to inspire a man effortlessly all the time. Like this polarized dynamic where you're being fully taken care of, you're being cherished by a man, and you're fully open to him, fully respecting him, and it's just the way that it should be. It's the way that my marriage is now. It's the way many of my clients have either created or they're in the process of creating. And it can be the same for you as well. But you got to take action and learn this. Okay, so the other way that men really drop the ball, this lack of safety, it's a different kind of lack of safety, right? Like kind of being angry, like, oh, what are you doing? Like, you're not doing this right. That defensive, critical, irritation-based energy. That's one way that a man's going to create a lack of safety. And then, of course, not being thoughtful, lack of cherishing. That's part of the problem too. That's going to build up resentment. But the other way is a man who's not in touch with his power. He's not living from his backbone. He's not solid in his boundaries. He's not grounded in his masculine energy. He's not in touch with his masculine instinct. These men are typically people pleasers. They are avoidant of conflict. They're trying to placate a woman. They're often but not always wearing a masculinity costume. So it's like they're doing the part of the provider, but it's not coming from the right place. It's not coming from a devotional place of strength. They're doing it to be enough. They're doing it to be worthy in some kind of way. So you can't feel this man's power and strength in the way that you need it. And that's not safe for a woman. It's not safe in your physiology. What your feminine instinct is telling you is that if you are with a weak man, because this is a weak man, a man who is floppy in his boundaries, in his vision, in his power, he doesn't realize that he is the leader of the relationship clearly, that man is not safe. He might be safe in the way that, like, a friend is safe. Like, here's the problem. So many women end up getting with these men, marrying these men, because they're safe in a different way. They're safe in a non-abusive way. They're safe in a way where you know that you hold the control and the power in the relationship, or at least a lot of it. Or maybe it's kind of balanced in some kind of way. So there is that safety for you. And a lot of those women, you had like an abusive father. there's many possibilities, right? You got used by men, hurt by men, molested by men. And so you unconsciously look for a man who is safe in that kind of way. But he's not safe in the way that you need, which is he doesn't have that backbone. Like what you really need is a man who is safe in the sense that he's going to lead you with care. Like he has all the power. This is what true safety is for a woman. He has all the power in the relationship. He has all the control. All of it. There's nothing you can do to control him in any kind of way, manipulate him. He holds all the cards, and he uses his power. He uses his control to cherish you. That's what true safety is. That's what my relationship has become. This is what I didn't realize for the first few years of my marriage, and we were both doing this kind of 50-50 thing energetically. And then I had to learn, like, I need to take all of the control here. I need to stop letting my wife lead me, tell me what to do, even set boundaries with me, right? Like this can be somewhat controversial, but like I don't let my wife set boundaries with me. That doesn't mean I take away her voice. I lead her to communicating all of her feelings, her needs vulnerably, so I understand what she's experiencing, so I can look at my own behavior, set my own boundary for myself to protect her heart. It's totally different than a woman setting a boundary and being like, hey, no, don't do this, Zach. Stop doing this. I don't need to hear that. A masculine man, any kind of healthy man, he doesn't need to hear that. He doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear a woman's vulnerable feelings so he can use his power, he can use the control in the relationship to take care of a woman. I'm not going to get too far into this in this video, but this can be super triggering for a woman who's been taken advantage of, who hasn't had control in a relationship, and the man who did have the control, who did have the power, used it to take from the woman, to extract, to hurt, to use. And so there's a way to do this, to create this dynamic safely, because I would never want a woman to get hurt going through this polarization process. So you got to be able to do it safely. Make sure you pick the right man. That's going to be a really big part of it. The most important part of it is picking the right man. So if you have a man who doesn't have this backbone, who doesn't have the control in the relationship, earlier on in the relationship, yeah, honeymoon period, it can be easier to stay open to him. You know, you're being validated in all these different ways. You know, everything feels good. You got your hormones flowing. But longer term, what you will tend to experience is you'll start to close off to him. You'll start to lose attraction for him. You'll start to lose connection to him. And he might be a great guy in so many ways. Like, he's so thoughtful. He's doing so many nice things for you. Maybe he's providing financially. He helps with the children, you know, assuming you have children, and you just don't feel what you need to feel. And you're like, what's going on? Like, it's that whole thing, and men hate this because they don't get it. It's like, oh, it's this perfect guy. Why don't I feel the way that I need to feel? It's not that you're broken. I mean, yes, some women can be absolutely looking for a really toxic bad boy man. Of course, that is an issue. But usually, most of the time, there's nothing wrong with you at all. It's your body is telling you this man is not safe. And not safe in this other way that I'm talking about, where like this man doesn't have a strong backbone. This man can't protect me out in the wild. It's completely different. This man cannot hold control in the relationship. And if he's not strong enough to hold control in the relationship, then how am I going to be safe with him? How can I trust him? That's what your body's saying. So like, isn't that cool to know that there's nothing wrong with your body? That your body is telling you exactly what you need to know. Now, of course, it's not 100% true. You can have woundings that cause you to misperceive things and get triggered by things that's 100% you, get turned off by things that are fully you. But as a general rule, your body is telling you so many important, amazing things. And safety is a big part of that. And when your body is closing off, it's telling you something important. You need to know what your body is telling you. You need to know what the actual problem is, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to communicate with a man what the problem is. Right? Because that's the last part of this. What do you do? Like, we talked a little bit about what to do with a more abusive, reactive kind of man. Oh, it's a lot more challenging with the doormat kind of man. Or at least it can be, depending on how far gone he is, right? How deeply suppressed his masculine instinct is. One thing you can do, though, is even if he's not strong enough to take the control, to take the power, you can start letting go of your own control patterns. You can start using feminine communication, where you're communicating in a way where you're not manipulating, you're not controlling, you're being vulnerable, and you start seeing him step up more. You start seeing him take control, take the power, and then you're going to start to feel more safety as you feel more of his backbone. And of course, you need to bring these specific issues up. Like what I've told you if you got that kind of man, you need to tell him this. Now, if you got to do it, you should do it in a feminine way, in a vulnerable way, communicating what feelings are coming up for you, what the problem is, without blaming him, without judging him, because that kind of man will probably put him into a shame spiral. You judge the first type of man, that's going to put him into a blame spiral, and it could be a mix as well. So there's so much that you can do just by focusing on you. And this is not about like, hey, you're the problem. This is about, hey, how could you be co-creating this situation? You picked a weak guy because you want to stay more in control, and now you're continuing to stay more in control and not respecting him because of it. The other option is you get divorced and you do the same thing again, or divorced or break up with him if you're not married. Those are your choices. So what are you going to do? And it's scary to let go, of course, but you can't continue this trajectory of not being fully open to your man. Like, a man and woman should be intimate multiple days a week, minimum, maybe even every day, depending on your state of health and all of that stuff. But if that's not happening, that's a red flag. That's like, when you get chronic fatigue or you get eczema or like you get some kind of physical symptom, that's a sign that there's something really wrong in your body. It's not detoxifying properly. It's going downhill, and something even worse is going to happen. You're eventually going to get cancer or whatever. Losing desire to be intimate with your man whenever he wants to be intimate with you, that is a symptom. That is a red flag. And you need to take it very seriously, because just like physical symptoms, things are only going to go downhill. You cannot ignore this. You cannot just say, I'm not feeling it tonight, because it's going to get worse. His needs are going to continue to get unmet because of that, and yours are going to continue to get unmet. It's not going to go well. It's going to end badly. You can learn how to shift this using feminine communication and learning how to let go of control in all of these ways. Your control patterns are there to keep you safe, right? Like, for example, when you judge a man, when you speak in judgments, you're doing that to stay safe so that you can avoid being actually vulnerable, sharing your feelings, because it's scary to do that. So all of these control patterns are helping you stay safe, and they're sabotaging your love life, your relationship at the same time. If you want to have the best kind of relationship inside and outside of the bedroom, you need to learn how to let go of all of those control patterns. You need to learn how to stop initiating, stop mothering, stop judging, stop complying, stop resisting, stop fawning, stop avoiding sharing your feelings altogether. You need to learn how to wear your heart on your sleeve. And what an amazing life that becomes when you can just be fully open with your man. Not just in the bedroom, but even, more importantly, outside of the bedroom. Like, when you can just be fully, not physically open, but yes, that too, but emotionally open, where your heart is just fully there for him to give love to, there's nothing like it. But most women are in their relationships fully closed or very closed off because they're afraid to be that open, because they don't know how. You haven't been taught. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to help you do this. You can do this on your own. It's really difficult on your own. It takes a heck of a lot of work. But if you want help, you want hands-on support, learning how to make these shifts, learning how to get the communication right, learning how to love yourself fully, learning how to navigate things when a man doesn't respond well, that's what I'm here to do. That's what my team is here to do. And if you want that support, or you're interested in that support, go below this video, open up the description. You're going to see the link to my main website, relationshipyourdreams.com. Watch the video there. Book the call with me. There's a button to book a call with me. Book that call. I'll see you on the call. We'll talk all about what's going on. We'll talk about what is not going well in your relationship, or if you're single, because this is for single women too, what's not going well in your love life. I'll tell you how to fix it. I will diagnose you, and I will tell you what you need to do to fix it. And if I believe that we can help you fix those issues, and way faster than you could alone, like if it seems like the right solution for you, we'll talk about our Academy program. We'll talk about how we can help you. You can ask me any questions that you have about that. And then you can decide whether you'd like to work with us and create the relationship of your dreams. If that's you, fantastic. Book that call. I'll see you there. We'll have a great time. That's it for this one.